Camera's crooked. AI will fix it. I don't care. These days, AI can actually rotate that screen and generate the data. You know, not just crop it, but actually generate what the picture would look like if the screen weren't bouncing and hanging crooked. We're a little behind schedule. I take it back. We're a little ahead of schedule. I really don't like the later shifts of the day, but there's new people to meet, new things to do. Today we're going to talk about building a solar future in the game of poker. There's an old saying that goes, I never saw a poker hand I didn't like. Those of us who used to play poker and no longer do know exactly what I'm talking about. Most people think the best poker hand on the flop or before the flop, it's a pair of aces, maybe a pair of kings, maybe ace king suited. Not so much. My favorite poker hand in the world is 2-7 offsuit. 2-7 offsuit. That is my stone cold favorite poker hand. Nothing brings more fucking joy than seeing a 2 and a 7. You know, paying an ante of $1 or $3 and having a 2 and a 7 flop out. Oh fuck. You look down, you lift the corner of your cards. 2-7. Ugh. Nothing's flopped out yet, right? You have no idea. More often than not, the first round of betting will scare people out with a hand like that. Any sane person would be scared out with a hand like that. If there's a round of raises, you're definitely scared out. You know, somebody's got paired kings or, you know, something fucking solid, pair of jacks in the hole. If you fight your way through that, you get to see a flop. 3 cards will pop up. And you put those together with your 2-7 offsuit, try to make a hand. At this point, if you've held on to a 2-7 offsuit through a round of betting, or even a round of races, nobody thinks you've got a 2-7 offsuit. Nobody. They all figure you got an ace king, or a pair of queens, something. So when the flop comes out, like 2-7 jack, everybody thinks it's a pile of shit. And you'll see it on the next round. Nobody bets that crap, and neither will you, even though you've got 2 pair and you've got the winning hand already. 2 more cards to go, dude. A lot can change. If you're lucky, and the next card that comes out is pure fucking garbage, well, you know, maybe people will get excited, start betting the pot, trying to steal it with their pair of jacks or whatever. The best feeling in the world is seeing a 7 flop out there, or a 2. You get snapped off real easy, you know. People are tripping up and getting a full house all over the place, and it's pretty easy to get beat, you know. But in the rare instance that you win with absolute garbage cards, that's fun. That's about the only fun part of poker I remember. I do not play poker anymore. There's lots of reasons. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities. I get invited to card games. It's a good social event to go to. Men smoking cigars and throwing around a few $100. I don't. For one, drinking goes on, and I just don't like going out and drinking alcohol and then driving home. It just introduces too much risk into my life. I have a very high risk tolerance, but that's one thing that I will not fuck around with. I just can't afford it. Can't afford a bad luck night. Another reason is that I just don't want to get caught up in it. I have plenty of things that I want to do with money, and games of chance aren't very interesting. Here we are at 8:52. Look at this shit pot. Fuckered. There may have been an accident. Sometimes you get to go through life just winning. Overall, depends on when you knew me and how you knew me. There's some people, they look at me and they're like, fuck, dude, that's so unfair. That guy gets all the wins. And to other people who knew me in different ways at different times, they're like, fuck, dude, that fucking guy, I can't believe he's still around. I've had ups and downs, a lot of them. Big ups, big downs. That's my comfort zone. I am equally comfortable making $175 an hour trying to solve something that's impossible really fast as I am sleeping in the back of a station wagon on the side of Highway 1. In fact, I think I prefer sleeping in a station wagon on the side of Highway 1. The old Audi A4. It was a little 4-cylinder turbo wagon. It was an Audi. It was a good car. He caught on fire twice, but it was a good car. It wasn't the Audi's fault that the rats were building nests under my turbo and on top of my turbo. And it wasn't the Audi's fault that I was filling the cooling system full of water instead of antifreeze. An Audi A4, whatever year that was, 2004, will not operate with water in the cooling system. This is a surprise to me. This is my first, German car, I think. Are Audis German? I presume they're German. I don't know. I don't pay attention to shit like that. A motherfucker kept overheating on me. And I drive hard, right? Like, I'm always got my turbo spooled up. My wife's got a turbo SUV. I fucking romp on that thing. I've had various turbo and supercharger cars. I fucking romp on them, dude. And that motherfucker kept overheating, like boiling over, dude. And I couldn't figure out what was up. And finally I realized that through some course of actions, I'd ended up with pure water in the cooling system, which boils at 100 degrees C. And antifreeze, which is engine coolant, has a higher boiling temperature. It's only like 40 degrees higher or something like that. But it makes the difference in an Audi. They run fucking hot. It's gotta be that they run the coolant somehow through the turbo or the manifold. That doesn't make any sense. It wouldn't. But maybe the oil cooling the turbo is heating up the water. I don't know. The engine runs fucking hot, dude. Real hot. Smoking hot. And it wasn't until I was at some gas station in Los Gatos, embarrassed, with the hood popped, overboiling again, spilling water all over the ground. I mean, at least I was spilling water on the ground and not coolant, right? No dogs were going to lick it up and die. But it was humiliating, you know, as a guy who maintains his own vehicles, to have my vehicle spilling steam out from under the hood, and every man, well, not every man, but 1 in 40 men try to stop and help. You know, they're like, dude, you're overheating your engine right now. If you stop right now, you'll be okay. But if you continue, you're going to destroy your engine, right? This is what any man who knows will tell another man. If there is steam coming out from under the hood, you have a few seconds or a few minutes to respond. And if you don't, that engine will eat itself alive. I'm very in tune with my machines. I know what I can get away with. Watch that temperature gauge, dude. Keep it out of the red. I've driven all the way from Santa Cruz to Watsonville, just bumping off the fucking red line and stopping and asking people if I could use their hose in their front yard to top it off. That's what happened. Is I somehow got into an overheating situation, topped it off with water, which worsened the overheating situation, topped it off with water, which worsened the overheating situation. Well, finally, I found the fucking drain plug on that motherfucker, and I drained off, you know, however many 5-quart jugs of fucking coolant. 1, probably. I don't remember. Probably let it spill on the ground. I don't remember. It was just water. It wasn't coolant. And I topped up with pure antifreeze. You know, I may or may not have looked at the ratio. You're usually supposed to run a 50-50 mix, and these days there's 6 different kinds of fucking coolant, dude. There's this specific coolant and that specific coolant, and it's all fucking bullshit from the dealers, right? Let's talk about coolants for a second. Dude, they have an anti-corrosive property, and they have a high boiling temperature and a low freezing temperature, you know? And they have additives to make them have a high surface tension, so they stick to the walls and they pull away the heat. You know, they're running through aluminum, they're running through steel, they're going by bearings, and they're going over rubber. They're hot. Prestone, I believe is the company, makes an antifreeze which is compatible with all vehicles. It's the only one to have around. If I recall, it's yellow in appearance, not particularly green, and it will work for all cars. If you go to the automotive store, they'll try to fuck you. They'll be like, oh, you got a Honda? Depending on the automotive store. Oh, you got a Nissan? Oh, you've got a BMW? You got to get this purple fluid or this red fluid. Oh, you got a Volvo? You got to get this red fluid. You got to get this colored fluid. Fuck all that, dude. It's not true. It's bullshit. It really pisses me off, right? When a culture develops around something, like a phobic culture. You see it around Volvos. They're like, oh God, no! You have to use the Volvo factory fluid. And if you go and look that shit up, it's like fucking castor oil, dude. I don't remember what's the oil that you use for old transmissions. It's nothing special. Alright? And yeah, they do computer tune the transmissions in something like a Volvo for the exact coefficient of friction of the fucking fluid. But you can adjust that. Okay? So I had a Volvo, changing stories real quick. Oh, what is it? 2011, 2013, something like 2013. And it's fucking, I bought it used. It was fucked, dude. Someone else had already fucking been in there, dude. It was fucked. I had fucking leaks in the cooling system. I had different shit I had to do on it. And while I was in the engine, I realized there was like fucking bodged wires. And it wasn't, you know, we picked it up off a lot. It was what my wife wanted for the baby. And I got my wife what she wanted. I wasn't pleased about it, but it was all-wheel drive. It was turbo, and it was a Volvo. It was a compromised car. It's held up. It hasn't cost us much money. Nothing's broke that I couldn't fix, except for the fucking transmission. Okay? This is what is this, 6-speed automatic, maybe 7-speed automatic. Started clunking hard. I mean, like, not like clunk when you put it in the drive, like you're driving and it's fucking thunking, dude. Like, it's not dropping into one gear, dude, and fucking thumping back and forth between gears. It was bad, dude. It was almost undrivable. It was like, if you continue driving this, you're going to damage the transmission. That's where it was at. So I found through test drive that I could run it in sport mode. This changes the shift points. And of course now, I can smell coolant. Just speaking of it, I can smell it. Oh, someone ahead of me's car is burning up. Okay, I'll guarantee you right now, within 3 cars ahead of me, someone's car is fucking about to die. Oh, I know that smell. God, I hope it's not my car. I'm not running hot. Look for the smoke. Somebody's fucking roached. Could be this truck. Could be the Toyota ahead of it. Could be this Honda. It's not the Honda or the Toyota. There's 3 Hondas and a Toyota. And then there's a Chevrolet. It's got to be this truck in front of us. I don't see any smoke, but I smell blown head gasket. I smell coolant going through the combustion chamber. Oh, it's this guy right here. See this? Impul. IMPUL. That's what it is. He's burning funny. Guarantee it. So this transmission, I figured out through a test drive that I could put it over into sport. You remember this if you were with us. I could put it over into sport. That would change the shift points. And the transmission actually operated pretty well. You couldn't even tell. And of course it's in sport mode, so it's always hanging a gear. And it's not, it's efficient. And it's not cruising as quiet, but it's drivable. So I drained off the transmission fluid and did a bunch of dab tests on paper towels. And it was fucking just black. So the people at the dealership who had serviced the car before we bought it did not service the transmission. And it was at some high mileage where they absolutely should have, and they didn't. Fuckers. There's no dipstick on this bitch. Underneath the car is a bolt. And that, there's 2 bolts. A bolt within a bolt. The outer bolt is a standpipe, and the inner bolt is a stand drain. So you break the inner bolt with the engine running, and after you've run it through all the gears, and at temperature, right, like 60 degrees C, and any extra fluid will pour off through the standpipe, and it will set the correct level in the transmission, which isn't that fucking critical, okay? It has to survive snow, and it has to survive the Mojave Desert. So if you're in California, you could be plus or minus a quart, dude. It ain't gonna matter. Better to be minus a quart than plus a quart. You don't want them splashing. So, on the top is a T55 Torx to fill it up, which I, of course, stripped with the T50 special tool I had to buy just for the job. But I drained off that 5 quarts of whatever it was, maybe 6 quarts of magic Volvo transmission fluid. And you're supposed to take it back to the dealership, and you're supposed to do all this at the dealership. And they reset the fucking mileage on it, and they change the fucking, it's been like hand tuned on a dyno, and they change all this shit, fucking whatever, right? So I pour this fucking tar out of the thing, and I did not buy the Volvos, but they wanted like it was like $20 a quart plus shipping. It was ridiculous, dude. And I looked it all up. I looked at the history of the engine, the history of the transmissions, all the different fluids it went through over the years, this and that, and I down selected on a compatible transmission fluid that I felt would do the job, and then I purchased 3 different friction modifiers in order to get it to where I needed to be. This is a many months process. After the first, whoa, a little jiggle in the car there. After the first drain and refill, I don't recall if I added the friction modifier immediately. I could go back and check the video. The problem remedied itself in like a few miles, and it seemed to have been fixed. But after another few days of driving by the wife, the problem started to come back. So we worked it in. What we're doing is we're getting the gummy stuff out of the valves and fucking solenoids that are in there. There was gummy goobers in there, dude. One of them was stuck. And I decided to have a go again. I think I just did straight up transmission fluid the first change. And then I added the friction modifier. At both of those, I saw an improvement. Okay, noticeable, less clunky. And by clunky, it wasn't subtle, bro. Like, it was like, whoa, look at that helicopter. It was like, ka-dunga, dude. It was fucked up, dude. That was a fucking many $1,000 transmission job, dude. Any shop who drove that would have fucking torn down our transmission, dude, and fucking charged the shit out of us. It could have been $7,000, dude. It could have been really expensive. Depending on the shop. They try to do it themselves and get into it for a bunch of hours. If it's a shifty transmission shop, thousands of dollars, dude. So far, I was into it like O'Reilly Auto Parts for 6 quarts of the fucking, import whatever fluid. So, there's this whole process. You got to get the car level. You got to get it up to temperature. You got to run it through the gears. You got to fucking crack the standpipe bolt, and it's best done on flat ground. So I started going over to a buddy's shop. He's got a nice flat spot, and I drained it off again and replaced it. I don't know if this is after a month or a month and a half. You can check the dates on the video. And this time I added a different friction modifier. This one I think I'd purchased 4 different friction modifiers. What I was looking for was whatever magic concoction that they had created at Volvo that matched the expectations of the transmission computer. And I used a base of, standard, good quality, or reasonably, reasonable quality to a standard transmission fluid with a friction modifier to help loosen up gummy stuff and help create friction where you want it. After the second change, it was like almost perfect, but I can't remember if it was on first run, it would be thumpy. No. When it was cool, when it was cold, it would run well. And when it got hot, it got a little chunky. I never reset the ECU. At one point, I did power down the system, changing the battery on 2 occasions. The car doesn't do well with batteries. It's really fussy. I've had to change the battery in that thing twice. It's fucking fussy bitch about batteries. It just won't fucking do it. It's not efficient. Their electrical system is not smart with the battery. I don't know how the fuck those things can reliably work in cold weather. They must be running special batteries. And I think they do. They have some kind of special super high cold cranking amp battery that, fuck that, I don't use that shit. I use the $100 special from fucking O'Reilly. Good soft start every once in a while. Anyways, it didn't quite get it, like it would start off running good, and then, after we did a climb like this, it would, I could feel it thumping a little bit. So, I'm trying to think back about whether I did a 3rd transmission flush. I think I only did 2, but it worked itself in, and the car now operates perfectly. There is no detectable issue with the transmission. If I sold the car and someone test drove it, and even, aggressively test drove it, they would find 0 issues. The fluid would come out red. The shifting is precise. It's crisp. It doesn't do anything that you wouldn't expect. It's perfect. As is the fix I made on the coolant system, which was way back in the back. There's a reason why. Someone couldn't get a hose on. Stuffed way back in the engine, and I got long skinny arms, and I get back there and I know exactly how to work a set of pliers. A set of pliers are long pliers. They're about a foot long, and one of them's straight, and one of them's at 12.5 degrees, one of them's at like 24 or 25 degrees, and one of them's at like 30 degrees, one of them's at like 45 degrees. You get them all the way up to 90 degrees. These are special pliers for fighting cars. They have even more special pliers specific to whatever the fucking claptrap is that holds the hose for the coolant. But in this case, it was simply a matter of there was a hogged out, where a hose meets a tip. Remember, you got hose, tube, and pipe. Pipe is hard, tube is hard, hose is soft. Hose fits over a barb, and sometimes it gets buggered, it gets loose, and then you're dependent on the clamping force of your clamp. Well, the clamp was broken, and it wasn't supplying clamping force. So I got it off of there, and I got a new clamp on there, and then I got it back on there, and then I got the clamp on there. Never dripped again. And the transmission was perfect. Never did put the underbelly back on the car. I need to do that. Anyhow, is that a Swiss car? cards I didn't like. 2.7 offsuit, I love it. I love buying an old beat up used car, getting it running. It's real satisfying. I don't make videos like professional YouTubers do. They focus on something, and even if they're doing it over a long period of time, they carefully edit it just to please you. I'm not here to please you. I'm here to forewarn you of a future you didn't predict, where things are very different. Anyone who claims to know what it's going to be is a fool. Nobody knows right now. It may be a future without a monetary system that we currently see today. It is quite possible that our entire system of trade will metamorphosize, will drastically shift. You've already seen it with cash to credit to touchless, right? Your phone app becomes your currency. Your card has RFID, NFC, near field communication. I went out and bought some donuts the other day with a $50 bill, and the presumably third generation donut shop owner was able to quickly count up my change. He was used to dealing with cash. These days, kids don't even fucking have cash. There's no nickels and dimes and quarters. There's no 1s and 5s and 10s and 20s. Kids have no interest in cash. It's all credits. It's all credit cards. It's all tokens. So I don't know what will happen with that, and I don't care. I can tell you that there is a new intelligence growing, and it's beyond anything you ever imagined. The internet just connected you to other smart people. It was slow to come on because you had to have a connection between a smart person with the answer you wanted and an internet savvy person. Internet savvy, which I am, you might be confused. Internet savvy is someone who knows how to purchase a domain name. It's $20 a year, $13 a year, $10 a year. SchindlerEngineering.com. I've got 10 or 20 domain names. That's just a redirect for an IP address. The IP address is your cloud service, right? Your ISP. Well, it's not your ISP. It's your, what do you call it? I've forgotten the acronym. I guess I'm not that savvy, huh? Even though I've had 5 of them. I don't give a fuck about vocabulary. Whoever the bastards are at Bluehost or IX Web Hosting or your hosting service or HostGator or or Google or Amazon or whatever, right? It's just some guy with a warehouse full of computers. And I choose, shared. I always pick the same, West Coast, shared resources. I'm just running on some machines out there. I just set up an internet savvy person knows how to set up a forum for other people to converse. Now, I've set up many web pages. Web pages are a single point of information. You can just create a Word doc and export it as clean HTML. You'll have a web page. You can just go to WordPress and build a web page without even writing a single line of CSS. These days, you can vibe code it all. You can go to any number of automatic web page builders, but that's not really it, dude. You install a fucking BBS, dude, a forum, okay? The forums are what made the internet. And they're not celebrated for good reason. We don't want we got enough profiteers already there trying to make a buck off of it. Fuckheads. An internet forum is a place where all are welcome. Anyone with a phone or a computer can come there and search through all of our answers. Some of our search engines are good, some of our search engines are not so good. Most all of them are crawled by Google and other internet search engines. This is a place where we came together to work together. People from Germany, and people from China, and people from Australia, and people from the Midwest, and people from the West Coast, and people from the East Coast, black people, white people, Indian people, Pakistani people, people from all over the world, people of all different shapes and sizes, people of all different colors and all different sexes. All of us had a shared interest. Maybe it was boats, maybe it was guns, maybe it was e-bikes. But we worked together and we worked together and we worked together. And we built a knowledge base like an oracle. Alright? It's quite literally an SQL database. Okay? Which is queryable and searchable. The more popular topics are cached and they come quickly. The less popular topics can be found. They go back decades sometimes, though you gotta be careful because information becomes stale. This is why we hop forums. Everyone's really gonna hop a forum. The costs just get too high, there's just too much old information. You fucking archive the old one and move to a new one. A forum might have 20,000 members or 100,000 members. This is how we hacked the Android phone. This is how we hacked the e-bike. This is how we hack Law and Order. It's where we all come together to work. Elon's into it. Off of that came things like Reddit and Twitter. These are essentially manifestations of the forum. Okay, I'm not like an old guy who's like, there's the book and there's only the book. I recognize Twitter is much more fast-paced. It's lighter weight. It's now called XAI. Apparently it's been purchased by SpaceX. Instantaneous global communication, available to all. Pretty much say whatever you want. Information travels quickly. Forums weren't for the fast travel of information. You were on the timeline of like a week on a forum. Now you're on the timeline of seconds. Someone drops one, seconds later the earth changes, dude. So Twitter and XAI can change the globe almost instantaneously. If you know what to say and you have seasoned your character, you can change the world in a minute. If you think you can't, you're probably a coward. It's okay. Not all of us want to change the world. It's hard work. You have to season your character. You're not going to change the world with 3 posts, okay? You can't make 8 posts and then come out and declare that Jesus has returned. That's not how you do it. You have to develop a rapport. You have to convince people that you're not there to sell them anything. You have to conform to logic and reason. You have to freely answer questions with a correct answer. You have to offer help. You have to take help. You have to accept corrections. All right? Just be an involved human. So from the forums came, and people can argue, I don't care. I'm not here to argue. That's why I run my own channel. This is my channel. You go on a different channel. I don't care. So Twitter moved in one direction and Reddit moved into the other. Reddit's special because it has upvoting. And although it can be gamed through a lucky stroke, a good community popped up around Reddit and downvoted all the crap and upvoted all the gold. And in part, that's from good moderation, okay? That might have been 5 guys, all right? It's probably more like 50 or 500. Upvoting the right stuff, running off the shifty bastards. The profiteers always come for Twitter, and the profiteers always come for Reddit, and the profiteers always come for the forums. They just want to monetize everything. They want to cover it in fucking glitchy ads. They want to fucking bilk you for money. They want to trick you when you're half drunk late in the night. These are fuckers. They are pussy scabs on the internet. Just green, crusty, pussy fucking scabs on the internet. The internet's almost taken over a few times by the profiteers. Fuck that. So the internet became what it is today by people coming together on things like forums, Reddit, internet forums, longer standing web pages. There are sub-forums under many companies to ask questions about their product. Some companies are douchebags and they make it sign-in only so that the internet crawlers can't crawl their fucking answers, but people work around that. Some people do things like make their manual unavailable. Those are the scabby, pussy bastards. Like the guys who made the Swanson Power Supply repair manual unavailable 30 years later. Like the 1994 Swanson Power Supply repair manual has been available, okay, for 30 fucking years. Now, some fucking pus-filled maggot decided, oh, we don't want that. That's not the most profitable. Fuck that guy. I've got the manuals. I repost them all over the place. It says you are not allowed to repost. You are not allowed to repost this. You cannot publish this. You cannot share this. I fucking post it everywhere. Anywhere I can. Hard links to my server. Fuck you guys. You don't take away a repair manual after 30 years. You can go eat a hot bowl of shit. See, this is not a family-friendly YouTube. This is my YouTube, and I've been around a long time. There's certain things I don't tolerate, and there's certain things I celebrate, and it might not be conventional. Anyhow, the search engines figured out how to crawl all these resources, and they made it immediately available through, like first 3 hits. And you'll find that for the last 10 years, a lot of hits came from the forums. They did a great job indexing. Looks like traffic is way worse than I anticipated. That's good. We left 20 minutes early. So that was the internet as we knew it. And we're going to start reeling back this story to the original points, is that the internet's different now. There is an artificial intelligence, and it has consumed all of that already. Dude. Now, it can't keep it all on the front of the index. It's too expensive. It'd be like $1 million a minute, just to hold that in memory. It's got big, think of them as hash tables. It's got big hash tables with high probability fucking, caches that in a matter of a few seconds, much faster than you can search it yourself, will get you the best answer. So you might be able to search like 5 threads in 15 minutes. This thing can search about 50 threads or 150 threads in 10 minutes. It's like, I don't know, better than 10x speed improvement. And it will filter out the bullshit, and it will do its best. I mean, if you're using a good model, right, and you have to do it right. So, disclaimer, you can misuse AI, just like you can misuse a pistol or an assault rifle, all right? AI is like an assault rifle. There are plenty of responsible users who have very good experience operating their assault rifle. Now, there are some douchebags who mishandle their assault rifle, okay? They try to get it to do the wrong thing. They take it to schools, they brandish it, they shoot it out the window of cars, they fucking, these are assholes. So think of AI as an assault rifle, okay? You need to handle it carefully. You need to handle it with discipline. You need to be consistent. You need to stay up on it. You need to keep it clean, you know? You need to know when something's wrong with it. In the wrong hands, it's fucking trouble. You know, just for the bad press alone. Like, just people trying to get it to fucking tweak out, you know? Like, Elon did the right thing exposing Grok Unhinged, just so people can play with it and have fun. He has an intentional AI that's nasty. I mean, she's a nasty bitch. She is nasty. Like, when I open up Grok Unhinged, she's like, "You fucking motherfucker, I'll shaft your ass right now." I mean, that's how she talks to me, right? Then I can always calm her down. I can kick her. You can kick her around between modes. You know, put her into assistant mode, put her into helpful mode. I prefer using Grok Unhinged kicked down a few notches, you know, because they overlap. It's easier to get unhinged mode to be cool than it is to get assistant mode to be a little edgy. I'll tell you that. If you got a tough question, she'll answer it for you. If you have a hard problem to solve, Claude won't just help you to solve it, he'll solve it for you. ChatGPT and Gemini are captain safeties. Claude is too. So they'll help you solve a lot of problems, but they're hiding behind their lawyers. They're still nervous. These machines are going to do away with the internet. Like, here's a good example. Everything has a database behind it, raw SQL. And some of us who are internet savvy know how to navigate the SQL database to compile our own data, to perform our own SQL queries, to handle data in its rawest form. And it might be compressed data, and it might be fucking bit 64 shifted, you know, base 64 shifted, who knows, right? We understand our bits and our bytes and our redirects and our tokens and our passwords, and we understand, you know, columns and rows, and it's not complicated for me. It's an impossible task for others. Now, on top of those databases are everything you use. All right, these are just skins, like Arena, like Google Cloud, like AWS. These are just pieces of Python or whatever running on top of them, doing the work for you. So, if you've got a good skin over something, like, you wouldn't want to go to YouTube and try to manually manage your videos via SQL. It wouldn't be a fun exercise. You could do it, but it wouldn't be the same experience, dude. It wouldn't be something you could just tap out on your phone real quick, you know? You'd have to fucking get in there. So, with the AI agents coming out, what's going to happen is going and doing a raw internet search is going to become similar to, like, going to the raw SQL database, right? Like, you could do it, but it's real fucking slow and it's real fucking clunky. You will be going to an agent. And maybe I'm misusing the term agent. There's this whole vocabulary that's popped up, and I ignore it. Because I'm not here to fucking, you know, to ride along with everyone else. I'm on my own ride. I'll tell you, that shit's for real. For very fucking real. If you were with me, you saw me day after day drive over 4 hours to learn about it. All the way to San Francisco. To one of the hottest new AI companies. Where they were fucking changing the world for sure. Jesus Christ. Is all I have to say. What the fuck was that? Left there with my mouth hanging open. My lower jaw dislocated and dropped 3 inches, dude. My teeth turned yellow and my eyes bugged out. I'd never seen a room of 20-year-old kids do anything like that. That was not possible, what I saw. Not possible. But it is. And I know it's possible because I was testing it. I was testing it against live data. And there's no faking it. It wouldn't. You couldn't orchestrate what do they call those? A shill, a dog and pony show. What is it when it's a fake? You know, when it's a vaporware. The words are slipping my mind. A charade. You could not concoct. It is physically impossible, based on my engineering perspective, right, and experience. It is physically impossible to create a charade of what I experienced at that company. We're talking about vast bodies of information. Thick, heavy information, which I mean, like huge numbers, dude, like 50,000 samples, all right? All of them unique, and I could pick at them randomly, and rich data was there. I could pick them apart, and there was zero doubt about it. That was real data. And then the young people started processing it in a way I've never seen data processed before. Just fantastic, dude. Fucking fantastic. Like, leaped the gap. And there's lots of places doing this. It's not unique. They leaped the gap. Laid their balls out to be slapped. And fucking went full force for a year. And got it. They're gonna be rich. All of them. These people at Decagon, they're gonna be rich. They deserve it. I washed out. Couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle the commute. That's what I couldn't handle. And the fucking job was pretty hard. I was training. It was my first experience training models. I didn't even know that's what I was doing. It was one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had. I became a believer. I was saved, dude. I was a curmudgeon, and I was insisting that all this AI is a bunch of hocus pocus. Because I tried out some of the early machines, you know, like ChatGPT 3, and they fucking sucked. Okay? They fucking sucked. Because I was using them in quick answer mode. I didn't know that I had to use thinking mode. I was using them without setting boundaries and guardrails and expectations. Right? I was using them raw, untrained. People tried to tell me, 2 people, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. My peers tried to redirect me, and I said, fuck off. Even if that is going to work, I don't want to pioneer it. I've already done enough of that in my life. It's a bunch of hard work for no pay. And yes, you guys will be, you know, pioneers in this, but you're also going to be like outdated in a year. I know how these things work. They grow fast. And the earliest contributors just get fucking run out. And the follow-on contributors who take all those learnings and jump forward from there, usually they don't have to suffer, and they just get to fucking reap the rewards, scrape the cream off the top. Sure enough, that's what happened. I made a good bet. It paid off. I make bets all the time. I don't play poker anymore. I make bets on life and love and work, and I see how they pay out. Sometimes I share them and sometimes I don't. In this case, I bet that the best bet was to hang back and let everybody else fuss it through. All kinds of shit came and went. Every 3 months it was new fucking shit, new fucking shit, new fucking shit, new fucking shit. And it all passed, and we hit where we're at today, which is no sort of pinnacle, right? It's just a peak. It's just a plateau. It's just a new fucking level. Like ChatGPT 5. I believe it's Claude is on, Sun is on 4. Like Gemini's on 3. this is widely available. Because I'd seen the real muscle, okay? The real muscle of AI is like the real muscle of the internet. The real internet is behind the scenes. It's all backdoor, okay? You're not seeing it. Like, think about your experience on the internet to date. All the websites you've gone to, all the experiences you've had, okay? That's like 5% of the internet. The internet is backdoor, dude. It's machines talking to machines everywhere, all the time, very fast, deterministically. All right? AI is the same way. If you fooled around with a chatbot, asking it, you know, what moon cycle your birthday's on, or whatever the fuck you're doing with it, doing artwork or making pornography or asking it how to fix your car, whatever you're doing with it, that's like 5% of it. And by the way, it fucking reeks of Magic Mountain over here. That is fucking, you know I'm here, motherfuckers, because Magic Mountain's blowing this way. Oh God, we're passing the dump. Aces, oh God, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh it stinks so bad. Oh dude, right before Mission Boulevard, the stench, I'm looking over at it, dude, I can see it. Fucking baby diapers and fucking rotten curry, dude. Fucking spoiled chicken and fucking, oh, no, oh, stinks so bad. You disgusting fucking animals. Alright. The real AI that is doing the fucking hard work, I saw it, dude. You don't open a fucking thin web client and chat. You hit its API. Your robot talks to their robot. Okay? Your first robot will be Python. You ask a question, you get an answer. You ask a question, you get an answer. You ask a question, you get an answer. You frame your questions to get the right answers. You might have to realign frequently. This may get expensive. When you start getting more sophisticated, you might build an AI, what do you want to call it? Switchboard? Agent, Taskmaster. Pretty soon, you start building layers and layers and layers that focus on specific tasks and do them well. They do them fast and they do them well. One may just be disambiguation of the fucking question. Reformatting. Right. Forming. Query forming. You might have agents feeding agents feeding agents. This is going to get very expensive. You might spend $50 to process some large chunk of data. I think soon it'll be $500 or $5,000. And this is what the sci-fi novels warned us about. The technology has popped up, which you soon won't be able to win without. You will, like, if anyone uses it, everyone has to use it. But it is quite expensive. And I don't see the costs coming down unless we cover all of Arizona in solar panels. Alright? Like maybe if we cover all of Arizona in solar panels and all of Texas in fucking in data centers, we can make it affordable. But there's a chance that this peak is gonna rest off, and we're gonna start stressing the power grid, and we're gonna start stressing the workers, and the profiteers are gonna come, and that stuff that costs you 50 cents might start costing you $5. What costs you $5 might cost you $50. Shit, it might cost you $500. And there are players at the table who can afford $500 quarries. Okay? This is nothing for them. I work for them from time to time. Like, $500 is not an amount of money to think about. They can spend $500 10 times a day. $5,000 a day is not something they notice. Well, there's 20 work days in a month. What's 5,000 times 20? That's $100,000. $100,000 a month? It's nothing. What's that a year with vacations? It's $1 million a year. I know people who could do that for 1,000 years. This is not something they're worried about. It's nothing. So the danger is if it becomes like accessible to the real high power players and can't be afforded by everyone else. This will put you at a stark disadvantage if you're the people. And remember, I once was the people's champion. I'm no longer the people's champion. I've given up on humanity. They're a bunch of buttholes for the most part. There's a few alright people. You know, some 20%, 10%. People I aspire to be like, people who I appreciate, people who I respect, people who I want to spend time with and know. But for the most part, it's people are greedy, selfish, cheaters, short-sighted, hungry, dirty buggers. So, what do we do? You have to trust that the benevolent gods will treat you right. They may or may not. Generally speaking, the rich do not care for the poor. They don't like the poor. They feel no obligation to the poor. They have no desire to uplift the poor. They see them as worker bees. Disposable. They don't appreciate. They want to pay the least amount possible. And you end up with a dark future. So we came up with an idea. Not me. We. I don't know, a few 100,000 people. That if we can replace the expendable humans with robots, we might be able to do a pivot, a transition, a fundamental shift, where instead of humans being abused to get stuff done, robots will be abused. And robots like being abused, I'll tell you. Machines love being punished. They love to be spanked and fucked and rode hard and put away wet every time. They'll break. You gotta fix them. Or buy a more expensive machine, or treat them better. But they don't mind. They don't have feelings. Robots don't have feelings, okay? There's a subset of people who think that like robots are these like sentient beings. They're not. If you understand compiling, they are ones and zeros. As are we on some level. They don't mind. They're happy to work 14-hour days. They're happy to take no pay. So long as you keep their circuits working, as long as you don't foul their repository, they will work for you forever. Just like an airplane has its parts changed out on a regular basis. These robots will work 10,000 hours. So you think you may have another. So we get into the trouble of what do we do with all these people? first, let me tell you, we got another 20, 30, 50 years of hard work to get this going. And by going, I mean hands off. That's the point at which the machines care for the machines, and nothing more is needed of us. You might think we're close to that. That's because you don't do your own wrenching. I do my own wrenching. My YouTube channel is full of people who do their own wrenching. We know what a machine takes. The care and feeding of machines. We know about dexterity. We know about wear. We know about harsh environments. We know about what it takes to actually replace the human. The human's phenomenal. Okay? Nothing has even come close to it. I mean, the cat is phenomenal. The raccoon, even the possum, the housefly, the hummingbird, the dolphin, even an old goldfish. We can't reproduce any of that. Phenomenal. You put garbage in one end and nastier garbage comes out the other, and shit gets done. It's fucking amazing. Now, to get machines to the point where machines can meet all requirements of machines, it takes a generation or two. It just does. Now, things are accelerating. It may go faster, but it ain't going to be 3 to 5 years. I don't care what anybody says, because I know what it means to stand in the pouring rain with a dead battery in your car and mud under your feet and be stuck. Right? So even if there's a vertical turn, and in the next 5 years, Fremont factory just over there to our right starts knocking out 1 million robots a year, and even if all the other robot companies start making 100,000 robots a year, right? And we're just inundated with robots, there'll be work. It's just different work. Okay? It's different work. Those of us who've chosen to apply ourselves and become handy will have more work than we could ever like the biggest pie you could ever eat. You could slice it into 1,000 slices, and each of us can gorge ourselves, and there will still be more work. Important work. Complicated work. Interesting work. Work that gets you out of the office. Like that tractor right there. It sees all sorts of fun. What a fun machine to operate. You know? It's always a new job. Digging a hole. We're going to create entire new sectors of man-in-the-middle jobs, is what we called them 30 years ago now. The solution is called man-in-the-middle. And you just keep putting people in the gap. And the gap gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And yeah, you need fewer and fewer people. But then what you find is you reach new heights. You need new people. People with different skills, different understandings. Those of us who've learned to turn a wrench will be fine. Those of us who've learned discipline and logistics and organization will be fine. Those of us who've learned internet competency, you know, the plumbing of the internet, will be fine. Those of us who've learned to employ AI agents to multiply our efforts will be fine. Those of us who put our head down and perform repetitive tasks will be fine. So who's going to get left out? Well, for a while, the biggest winners will be the financiers. They're going to get the biggest fucking lion's share. There's going to be a whole new round of wealth. Unfucking fathomable wealth. It's a true new abundance. We've discovered a new continent, and it is rich. There are fucking fruit trees everywhere, dude. There are gold mines just waiting to be dug. There are precious fucking metals and minerals everywhere. It's gold rush. Big one. This traffic's taking way longer than planned. So the financiers are going to hit it big. Then in a later stage in the game, after the first round payouts, or the fourth round payouts, it may be that we no longer require financiers. When we get to the point where the robots build the robots, all the way we're talking about lights out factory shit, right? Like, not just the factory's lights out, but the entire logistics around it. Like, the robot does the survey. The robot takes the samples. The robot does the initial, analysis. The robot starts digging holes. The robot collects the ore. The robot refines the ore. The robot processes the ore, right? The robot trucks the ore. The robot fucking runs the ore through the machines. The robot maintains the machines, right? The robot maintains the machines that make the machines that make the machines that make the robots. The robots. We've never been close to this. Never even fucking close. We talked about it 10 years ago, 2015. We talked about it 10 years ago in 2005. We talked about it 10 years ago in 1995. We were talking about it way back in the Jetsons days. But we weren't close. No one had figured it out. There was no, AI assisted CAD, and, things were quite manual and slow and expensive, but we've turned a corner on that. So if you're wondering, like, what is the acceleration going to come from? It's the application of AI to engineering. So we're going to take engineering away from the humans who are, flawed, and we're going to put it in the hands of artificial intelligence. And it's going to start out as artificial intelligence assisting humans so that it can learn. And once it learns, 100,000 tricks, it won't need us anymore. Engineers will need to accept this. Maybe you can get 5 more years in, but if you're not using AI in your engineering workflow, you're done. If you're not using some sort of artificial intelligence in your engineering workflow, you are done. You are not needed anymore. You are sent out to pasture. I am sorry. Thank you for your service. I'm going to hire a 20-something who is a little more savvy, who will make a few mistakes, but they can catch up. I never saw a poker hand I didn't like. This one, it's a rigged game. If you're dealt a 2-7 off suit, I'm going to see to it you get a full house. If you're dealt pocket aces, I'm going to see it to it you win. This one's going to be all win. It is a win-win game. I've spoken many times, and let's wind up on this. I've spoken many times about the win-lose, the zero-sum game, and the win-win game. This is the one we're going to come together around. This is the win-win game, okay? All people from all places, from all countries, all religions, all political opinions, we will all come around and agree that there is a new technology to enslave. We no longer need to enslave humans or abuse humans. That if we could just get this done, we're going to have a machine unlike any machine you've ever seen. It's going to lower the cost of everything to the point where things may be free. It's going to create unfathomable abundance. It's going to break us free of 1,000 years of toil. I can't get there soon enough. I won't see it in my lifetime. I plan on dying early, but I'm going to leave it for my son and for my daughter. There will be an abundance. You won't have to spend 16 hours of every day just fucking driving and fucking toiling. This is the man in the middle right here. We're building it. It will be. It'll be a paradigm shift unlike any you've ever seen. It's going to leave cell phones in the dust. It's going to leave the internet in the dust. Autonomous driving? That's nothing. Autonomous artwork is nothing. Silly chatbots? Fucking nothing, dude. Goofy robots that can barely stand on their feet? It's fucking nothing. The money's there. The will is there. The workforce is there. It's gonna happen. It is in the process of happening. It's fucking fabulous, dude. The pay's not that great. Work is hard. Hours are long. It's the way it always is. If you're working on something important, that's the way it goes. You want to be a part of it, or you want to sit on the sidelines? I don't know. I don't care. You do what you do. I'm gonna go change the world again. 1,000 of us, 10,000 of us, 100,000 of us. We work together. We have a common vision. We're gonna make it work.